Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom. We are back breaking down tomorrow's 6 games, looking back a little bit at today's total of 12 games, and just getting you guys ready for Sunday's game. So, FanDuel did not split up the slates. They have an all game slate, which starts with the one early game, and then the main slate with the other 5. DraftKings, however, split up a 3-game early, a 5-game main, and a 3-game late, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Mike?
Yeah, so the early slate starts at 3:30 with the Chicago-Boston game, 3:30 Eastern. And it also includes the two 6 p.m. games Eastern. So it's like you said, it's a 3-game slate, and the other 2 games start 2.5 hours after the first. So 5-game main.
Yeah. So, cool. Main slate, of course, as we predicted, was wacky. Pat McCaw, from what I remember, was the play, correct?
Ian Clark was the play. Him
Ian
and Patty
Clark.
Mills were
That's what I
the
meant.
two big values coming out of that game. Zaza too. He had a good game. But yeah, that was the thing, man. If you look at both the lines that won their free contest, they had both those guys. So it seems like that was
That was the
like we
plays.
said yesterday. I think that's how we opened the video yesterday. Lock down that value, you did well. So
Oh, let's see. No. Austin cashed over 200 today. That's good. I destroyed it in the
nice.
early. I had, some Tobias Harris and who'd I have at center? Oh, DeAndre Jordan went off. I had Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, so I did that. So the early slate went really, really well for me. Won a ton of money, and then I decided to put 100 of it into the late slate and didn't cash at all. So
Yeah, like you said, it was a wacky main slate. I also doubled. I just played a $10 double up because I was at work and they threw a line in. I also had Westbrook, Paul, and Jordan. Um, so I doubled that $10, and then I lost $10 in the main, and then I ended up losing a couple more dollars in
the late,
the late. Yeah,
yeah, man. I didn't play Jokic in the late. That kind of hurt me. It looks like. Who I had McCollum, I had Beal, I had Wall. I didn't play Dame either. Dame is what got me. So if you didn't have Dame,
pretty sure CJ had the good game. Didn't wasn't it CJ over Dame today?
CJ had 43 and Dame had 57, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah,
No,
he
Dame
ended
had,
with 46.
yeah, 41. John Wall had 51. So the winning lineup had, or at least in the contest I was in Dame at 41, John Wall at 51, CJ at 43, Bradley Beal at 37. Mason Plumlee was the play at center today. 34 points.
Yeah, he had a good one.
I played Nurkic, who got into foul trouble and was just out all game. And then Markieff Morris was also the play at power forward.
Towns another big game. So I mean, again, there aren't plays that we were high on, but there are plays that we knew were in the player pool. So just one of those games for sure. One of those slates for sure.
All right. Well, we got 6 games tomorrow. As mentioned, Boston and Chicago is the outlier on FanDuel in terms of it's the only game that differs from the main. So if you want to play the all-day slate, be my guest. It's very risky, obviously, with you guys knowing all the late scratches. We got a couple teams on back-to-backs, quite a few actually on back-to-backs. So it's a lot of risk involved playing with fire, guys that might sit. So starting off, Dame at 9,000 on both sites, going to Phoenix. They're on a back. Both teams on a back-to-back. Phoenix is just giving it up to point guards.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my initial roster build, it was really, really hard for me to get away from Dame.
Yeah, I think they just give it up to the primary ball handler. We saw. Yeah, we've seen that all year long. This season, both Dame and CJ have played well against Phoenix. So
Yeah, you can definitely put both of them in the line.
Dame is pretty pricey on DraftKings at 9K. I mean, he's on somewhat of a hot streak, but he hasn't really gotten too high of a ceiling as of late. You got 9,200 for Irving right there as well. So don't know. It's tough. I think Irving might have the higher ceiling of the two, but I think Lillard has the better matchup.
I agree with that. And then Bledsoe, I'm not going to touch, man. He got, I think, 23 points today, 27 points last time. I don't see any reason for them to push him, right, given that knee problem. So they're not playing for anything.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to roster Bledsoe.
Yeah, we talked about that. And then, Booker was the guy today. He had that game-winning shot.
Yeah, 44 points on FanDuel.
Yeah, he was pretty unconscious today, shooting the ball from the mid-range.
Speaking of that, you can go right back to Booker tomorrow, in my opinion, against McCollum.
Yeah, I think so, too.
D'Angelo Russell against Philly. I like that play as well, especially with him. Now, obviously, DraftKings is a little pricier, but FanDuel, 6,900. I think it's doable. D'Angelo has been balling since the trade. I think he's only had like one or two bad games. And I don't even think they were bad. They just didn't meet value.
His lowest since the trade was 28 and a half, I think, on DraftKings.
Yeah. So.
But he's got 3 over 40 in that time, like you said. The minutes have been up. His price is up, making it somewhat risky, I would say. But again, pretty good matchup for him today, and we've seen the upside. So he's definitely in the player pool. The only thing that really cautions me with him is there's really no one on this slate that is around his price range. And we talk about that when it comes to ownership.
The only other person I can look at on FanDuel that's in his price range is Derrick Rose. There is Goran Dragic on DraftKings that's in that price range, 7,200.
Yeah. So Dragic left the game early today.
Yeah.
He got elbowed in the face.
So who knows if he'll
and apparently it was pretty swollen. They wouldn't show it to the media, so we'll see what happens there.
That would put Tyler Johnson in play, though.
They said they're optimistic that he does, but still, you never really know until you sleep on it and see what the swelling does,
It's true. It's coming from a medic, so listen to this guy.
Yeah, especially in the facial area, man. It's going to be pretty swollen, I think.
Do you look at TJ against D'Angelo tomorrow? I don't think he's anything more than... I don't even know. That price is hard. I don't know if his ceiling is high enough to warrant that price.
Yeah, so especially going into the starting lineup and playing alongside Deion Waiters, who's a ball hog,
Yeah.
I tend to like Tyler Johnson off the bench more than I do in the starting lineup. But if Dragic is out, the minutes will be up. He will probably see more usage, or not more usage, but more shot attempts. So he's got to be considered if Dragic is out.
My bad. I was talking about TJ McConnell against D'Angelo.
Oh.
But I agree with you on Johnson.
Yeah, TJ McConnell, he had a good game today, 10 assists against Chris Paul. I think he's probably in line for a high assist game in this one, too. Price is a little up, like you said, and the ceiling is a little low, but not high on it, but I like the spot for him.
Jeremy Lin is a guy I think you definitely have to look at tomorrow. 5,500, 52 on DraftKings. He's been playing well. He gets Derrick Rose on a back-to-back in Brooklyn.
Who talking about, Jalen?
Yeah, Jeremy Lin.
Yeah. Minutes have been up 5 in each of the last 5 games. His minutes have risen.
Yeah, so
it's going to continue. He's going to have a great end of the season. I'm almost positive about that. This is a winnable game for them too, so
they're playing to
win. They're going to come out.
Yeah,
they're going to come out ready to win. If you factor the whole thing with Lynn coming up with the Knicks, I don't know that I do, but got to mention it.
That's true. I completely forgot about that.
30 plus DraftKings in 3 out of the last 4. 5.2 is still too cheap, I think.
Nice. My light bulb just went out. Is my video hella dark now?
No, you're still good.
Okay. Light just went out. Jeff Teague, I think I fade tomorrow. Tyler Johnson, we talked about him. Kyrie against Houston. That's going to be a game to target for sure. I'm definitely looking at the other side, though. Pat Bev, 5,400.
Couple duds in a row for Pat Bev. A lot of guys in this price range, too. We just mentioned Jalen. We just mentioned Tyler Johnson. I think you can also throw Jordan Clarkson in that mix. So for that reason, I think I'm higher on some of these other guys.
That's fair.
But I know what you're saying, though. This is a good matchup. This is a good game to target as far as DFS tomorrow.
What about Rondo going back to Boston? Did you buy into that at all?
So I broke down the early slate. I have a player pool for my early slate, and if you look at the 3 games on DraftKings, I think I'd rather try and get up to Rose at 63. But I know what you're saying. Rondo back in Boston, played okay against them in Chicago this year.
He wasn't
It's
foul
just
trouble
their
that
minutes, right? But that game too, they were without a bunch of ball handlers, if I'm not mistaken.
That was without Wade. It was just
without Wade.
It was him and Jimmy Butler that were playing because I remember Jimmy Butler had the
Mm-hmm.
game-winning free throws.
Yeah, I guess I'm somewhat cautioned because the Bulls team right now is in somewhat of a whirlwind. Their minutes have been all over the place as far as everybody except for Wade and Butler. And their point guard depth has obviously grown since that game. So I don't know. I'm indifferent about Rondo. I think I'm probably more leaning to try and find someone else
Okay, I agree with you. I'm not
on
looking
that
there.
early slate.
But Isaiah Thomas, if I were to play that, I like a lot as well at home against Chicago. So
Also, Jeremy Lin's $200 more than Rondo on that early slate. I think I'd much rather go there.
I agree with you. So we talked about C.J. McCollum. Obviously, I mean, both these teams are on a back-to-back. So C.J. McCollum, Devin Booker, $1,000 price difference on both sites. Which one do you look at more? I think I leave Devin Booker.
Yeah. If it wasn't for this game, though, I think I would easily be going C.J. McCollum for what they've done against each other this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, C.J.'s has played really well against Phoenix this year. 43.5 over the last 2. I mean, he's up and down, whereas Booker isn't. So that's the argument you make with Booker. Booker's pretty,
steady.
He's pretty steady, yeah.
Here's one
pretty
thing.
Steady 30-point guy, and McCollum is, up and down.
Here's one thing worth mentioning. This is McCollum's first game going off since Nurkic was traded, and it's no coincidence that Nurkic was on the bench half the game in foul trouble. So,
yeah, that's true.
Something worth watching. If you think he's going to be in foul trouble again tomorrow, then CJ. But I lean more towards Devin Booker only because, like I said, this is his first time he's gone off with Nurkic in the lineup. Or with Nurkic on the team, I should say. So there's definitely a correlation there, and I think Nurkic will come out and do well tomorrow against Phoenix.
It's another really good game to target, though.
It is.
I think you can go Dame and CJ tomorrow, I think.
All 3 of my favorite games are on the late slate.
Yep, I agree. I think you could throw in New York and Brooklyn, too.
Yeah, that's the only other team I'm targeting in the main. Obviously, on FanDuel, we have the 5-game slate, and I'm only targeting one player from that, and that's Sean Kilpatrick, which we will look at in a second. I'm not looking at anyone from Philly, Los Angeles at shooting guard. I'm not really looking at Nick Young, although he could have a Nick Young game. That's just a pure tournament play, but so is all the shooting guards on Philly.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking at anybody from that game at shooting guard either. I agree with you. Although I think LA and Philly is probably my favorite game on the slate.
That's what I was saying. So
I know it is.
All 3 of my favorites are in that late slate. New York, Brooklyn's the only other one I'm looking at for one player. And that's, like I said, Sean Kilpatrick going up against New York. Kilpatrick, especially on FanDuel, man, that price on DraftKings is a little harder, but on FanDuel, the fact that he's still $4,200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so last game, Isaiah White had a career high in scoring last game, and so that's what happened. Kilpatrick got benched for Whitehead playing shooting guard,
and he still hit value.
Yeah, well, on FanDuel he did.
Yeah.
But you run that risk every night with the Nets. If Karis LeVert starts hitting shots tomorrow, Sean Kilpatrick's not going to play the minutes you want him to play when you rostered him.
I agree. He still got 24 minutes last game, and like I said, he hit value. If I'm going to throw a punt at someone that's 4,200, I'm not going to complain if they hit value. You know what I mean? Because I'm not.
No, I like it.
Not counting on him to get me 30, 40 points. So I'm perfectly okay with 20 points from Kilpatrick tomorrow, and I think that's perfectly attainable against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather play Kilpatrick or Lou Williams?
You know what? I would rather play Lou Williams, but on FanDuel the price difference is 1,600 or 1,400.
Oh wow! See, Lou Will is $200 cheaper than Kilpatrick on DraftKings, so I think I'm gonna make that call
That's crazy.
tomorrow.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's 5,600 on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's
Do you look at Dion
that's a
Waiters
big
against
difference.
Indiana?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially if Broderick is out. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
6,500. He's hit value in 3 straight now. He's been shooting. He's shot over 50% from the field in 3 straight as well. It's not a terrible matchup against Monta Ellis and C.J. Miles. I like that play if Broderick is out for sure.
Yeah, if Dragic is out, I don't know if I like it as much with Dragic in there. I'd rather just pay down to Booker.
I think it's going to be sneaky tomorrow too with all these games, all these late games.
It's going to be a game no one's going to go after, I don't think. You'll have someone that
Right.
stacks it, but those are guys that make 150 lineups. Just saying. James Harden or LeBron James tomorrow?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Harden.
I'm going to go LeBron. LeBron has been consistent since he's gotten back, or since Kevin Love's gone down.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think LeBron. It is tough though.
LeBron's actually cheaper
'Cause-
on FanDuel as well, so
I think it's a tough call. I'm gonna go LeBron too. Actually, I know I said Harden, but that was because Harden, he's not been playing well. He hasn't, and if you look at the last 5 games, I mentioned this a couple days ago. It's been you have Utah, San Antonio, Memphis, and the Clippers, and the last game was a blowout against Chicago. So if you look at the last 5 games, obviously underperformed relative to what you wanted from him, but I think you can make the case this is going to be a close game. It's going to be nationally televised, and it's a good matchup. And he hasn't really had one of those recently.
he can definitely go off. Here's the thing, though. I don't think James Harden, because of the pieces around him now, the Rockets are actually a really good team. He doesn't need to go off every night. LeBron has to. The Cavs don't stand a chance if LeBron doesn't go off right now, right?
No, you're totally right. The shot attempts, he doesn't need to shoot the ball as much as he did earlier in the season.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the only reason I think this is a game where and dude, Washington is on Cleveland's tail right now. They are chasing them for first.
Oh yeah.
So this, I mean, you can consider
Wasn't Boston in second?
Boston was. Washington jumped them last night
really?
and then won again tonight. So Washington's chasing Cleveland right now, and LeBron has to do everything for them. I mean, it's literally LeBron and Kyrie. They don't have very many other options right now. So
LeBron in a back-to-back doesn't scare me either.
No, he's gonna come out and play it. This isn't a game where Lou sits LeBron.
I was scared off LeBron today because it was a back-to-back. I thought against Orlando it might have been like a blowout, and they might have rested him a little bit, being that it was the front end of a back-to-back, but they sure as hell needed him, so he played.
When was the last time these two teams played? It was recently, right?
Not since November.
Oh, okay.
Not since November the
Yeah.
1st.
Brian mentioned Harden dropped 41 in the game with 70-plus FanDuel points. But they didn't have...
LeBron had a triple-double as well.
Yeah, they didn't have Lou Williams back then either, and Pat Bev is available now. So, I mean, you had those two guys. I'm not saying LeBron or Harden won't go off. I just think that LeBron is a safer play because he needs to score. So,
Yeah, LeBron's like a walking triple-double machine right now. He's got triple-doubles in 4 of his last 7 games now, and it's for that exact reason.
Eric Gordon could go under own tomorrow. I think everyone's going to be on Lou. But both these guys are in good matchups against Cleveland. Cleveland gives it up to shooting guard, so look for both of those guys. I mean, you can look at all three, honestly. So you can choose.
You can definitely make the case for Gordon. I mean, Lou Williams is has not been shooting the ball well. He's in a shooting slump. But I guarantee in this game, if he gets over 20 minutes and shoots 40% from the field, he hits value on DraftKings. I can make that call.
Agree. Dwayne Wade against Boston. I believe he does really well against Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's this? Wade?
Dwayne Wade, yeah. I believe he has a good history against Boston, so something to look for there. Definitely much cheaper on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. And then I think you can look at Avery Bradley. I mean, I don't know, man. I thought Avery Bradley's game was last game. He just hit value again or right under it. So I don't know. It's hard to predict that. I'm fading that entire game because it's not on. I'm not playing the all day, but
So yeah, in that mini slate, the 3 games, it's I guess Lee, Kilpatrick, or Bradley really at that shooting guard position of that price. You can make the case for any one of those 3, in my opinion.
that's fair. That's fair. T.J. Warren. I like T.J. Warren tomorrow. Obviously, consistent minutes. If Alex Len is out again, I think T.J. Warren can play some 4 as well.
Yeah, I think T.J. Warren is profiles more of a cash play, obviously, and this is a good spot for him to continue his consistency against Portland.
I like that. Do you look at Mo on? Oh, I guess more on FanDuel. I don't think you played Mo over TJ on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, 1,200 less. Do you look at there?
On FanDuel, yeah, I definitely would consider him as a value play. 4,800. I don't really think there's anybody at small forward under 5K that I like more, to be honest with you, on FanDuel at least. There's really not much value at all tomorrow. I guess you could probably throw Hollis Jefferson against the Knicks in there, but I think I'd still rather play Harkless for his minutes consistency.
I like it. Covington against LA. Do you look there? I think he's too overpriced for what I want to do tomorrow, especially if I'm going to try and fit Brown in the lineup.
Yeah, so Covington and Melo are pretty much the same spot. And I think I'd rather pay up to Melo or pay down to T.J. Warren at small forward on power. And I think it's more of like a Saric game than a Covington game against the Lakers.
I agree. Do you look at Brandon?
Although they both can go off.
Brandon Ingram, 4,200. He had a really nice game last time. I believe at 30 fantasy points. So I don't know that he puts up 30 again, but Philadelphia doesn't exactly scream defense. So
yeah, again, this is my favorite game to target. I think everybody in this game that's starting or playing starters minutes is in play. I've not been high on Brandon Ingram all year. 4,900. If he was 42, I would definitely be considering him on DraftKings, but at 49, I don't think I am.
Agree with you. I like him at 42 though. You could look at him and Kilpatrick and compare those two. Rondé Hollis Jefferson. I don't know if I really look there.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, he's only really on my player pool because there's such limited value under 4.5 today on DraftKings. I only have 8 guys that I wrote down. And I just wrote him down just because he's playing the Knicks.
There's not value on the main slate at all. You have to search for it. There's like probably 3 or 4 guys that I can think of that are worthy of value.
And that's what makes that Harden LeBron pick pretty important today.
Yeah, I don't know on a 5-game slate if you can fade both of them, because I think one of them is going to go off, if not both. But without there being a lot of value, you would get someone like Dame, Kyrie. You could probably try and build a roster without them, and someone will. But I don't think you fade both of them tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't really built any rosters. I've been doing a lot of research, but haven't really built any rosters. Initially, when I look at the slate, what I want to do is to either, have a game stack from, maybe a 2 or a 3-man from each of the 2 late games, and then one with LeBron and one with Harden.
Makes sense. We talked about LeBron, obviously. Paul George against Miami. He's been hot, but I'm going to fade that. Again, that price just doesn't fit with the roster building. It's hard to get a guy that's above probably 6'5". Or I would say above 7. It's hard to get a guy above 7 if you pay up at point guard and get LeBron. So you're gonna get LeBron or Harden and one other guy that's probably above 8'5". Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, if you get think you hit it on the head. If you get let's LeBron and Harden, then 2 above 7.
Yeah.
And then you could probably get 2 above 5, and then 2 below. And that's just coming off the top. I don't really know exactly.
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah, we're not sitting here claiming it. But Jimmy Butler against Boston, I think you can look there if you play the early slate. And then, Jaylen Brown is still getting run. So, I mean, if you want to talk about value on that early slate, you can look there.
Yeah, Butler, man, it's just tough to play him right now. I think he's like giving up. Him and Wade, I don't know if you saw post-game comments. They somewhat mimic what they were saying about the young guys and their playing time and how it's pretty obvious. It was obvious to me before they said it. Like,
Butler wants out.
What are they doing? What are they doing? If all these guys are getting different playing time, how could they establish any sort of consistency,
Chemistry and all that, yeah. Aminu is in a good spot tomorrow, but I watched the full game tonight against the Wizards. This dude just doesn't get usage. That's the hardest part. He stands there. That's all he does. And he's
a defensive stat guy, so Phoenix rebounds, steals, it could be a good game.
It could. I don't know. It's hard.
5,700 is too much, though. That's for sure.
Saric and Randall. You can make the case for both. You can even look at Larry Nance. You can look at Rashawn Holmes. I mean, just all the power forwards, all the big men are in play in this game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Big time. I think you definitely got to get one from each side. Holmes had a great game today against DeAndre Jordan. Career high in scoring. Played 27 minutes, had almost 36 DraftKings points, and just looked good out there. So he's a guy I'm looking at. Coming up a back-to-back, his price probably would have risen. I like Nance as a value tomorrow. He's pretty cheap. Let me look at his price on DraftKings.
I'm going to take a guess.
35.
I'm going to take a guess and say that you're not going to play Julius Randle.
Julius Randle is someone I'm definitely looking at now. I think I'd rather play him than Saric tomorrow. But it's tough because Saric has the best DVP in the entire slate. It's just... It's going to come down to roster construction, I think. I like both of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you can build both with LeBron, right? Like if you could definitely build them both if you fade LeBron and Harden. But if you roster one of those two, you can't. So
I think they're both overpriced, but again, 7,900 for Saric in the top matchup on the slate for power forwards. Season last 10, last 5, the Lakers do give it up. So if these make sense that he will go off.
And you know what's surprising? I watched a lot of Saric today. The dude is actually not a bad defender. He has really, really quick feet. He was sticking with Jamal Crawford at the end of the half, run it like just shuffling his feet along the baseline. I don't think he's a bad defender at all.
Yeah, they got a good talent there. I mean, he can play multiple positions. Obviously, he plays center. He can play small forward. You name it, and he's got somewhat of a swag too.
Yeah. Interesting. Brush doesn't want to play Saric or Covington. I think you got to play one of those two. That's the offense for Philly.
Yeah. I mean, that DVP doesn't lie. It's, again, season, last 10, last 5. Saric is coming into his own in front of our eyes. I think he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, although
he should.
I still think Embiid deserves it.
I don't think you give it to Embiid, man. He didn't even play, 30 games?
Yeah, but he's obviously the most talented rookie that played this season.
He is, but I don't think
if he's not going to be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year, you have to give it to him this year. That's how I feel.
I disagree. But we can agree to disagree there. So we talked about Larry Nance value play. Bro, Kristaps against Brooklyn, I like that as well. Kristaps had a nice game.
Yeah,
today.
he owns the Nets. Let me tell you. I looked it up just because I know he does, and it came true from my stats. So 41, 38.5, 37.5, 41.5, 40.5. Those are his 5 games in his career versus the Nets. So he has, I think he's in line for a good game. I think he's underpriced. I think I know they've been screwing around with his role.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to start at center? Is he going to start at power forward? Either way, I think it's a good spot for him, and I don't think people will be on him because he's been underperforming as of late.
Well, yeah, he had a really nice game today, but obviously back-to-back, so some people may be worried, but I like him a lot tomorrow, as you mentioned. James Johnson, I think, could be in play if Dragic is out. I don't really look at him too much. I don't look at him too much otherwise.
I like him tomorrow. I don't know how much I like him, though. I'm the same way, because if Dragic is out, that means Tyler Johnson is off of that second team, you would have to think. And all the usage goes to him on that second team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the 10 minutes that he's the best player on the floor, that's what you're paying for. I like Trevor Booker, too, though. 7, or I think it's 9 of last 10. He's hit value.
Yeah, I definitely like
against
Trevor
the Knicks.
Booker. Definitely like Trevor Booker. Agree with you. Channing Frye, no. Ryan Anderson, no. I mean, Ryan Anderson actually could be in play just because there's going to be so many threes shot in this game. And then Bobby Portis and Mirotic you can look at.
So Mirotic didn't play again last game, so you have to assume that he's just not playing anymore.
Yeah.
For the Bulls, I don't know. Portis played less minutes than, or he played 19 minutes and Laverne played 16. We saw Felicio played 22. Valentine played 20 minutes and 2 straight. It's just all over the place right now. And there's going to be some value there for sure. If you're playing this early slate, there's going to be some value coming out of Chicago. It's just tough to pinpoint for sure.
And then Amir Johnson, I think I don't really play him tomorrow. I don't look there, but it could be value. Could be value.
Could be, yeah.
Center, man, dude, it's really tough to get away from the Lakers, but I don't know who's going to play. Black is in play. Zubac is in play.
I think Zubac's the guy. That's the guy I'm looking at.
I think he's only a tournament play, though. I mean, he hasn't gotten over 20 minutes more than once in the last 6 games.
I don't know. Luke Walton keeps saying that he's going to give him more run, but he's been saying it for almost a week and a half now. So
that's what I'm saying. Like,
they continually send him to the D League in between games to continue to get his minutes up and his legs moving. I think it's, again, on a slate, there's limited value. You're looking at a center that could play 20 minutes going up against the Sixers under 4K. And he's proven that he can be a points per minute guy.
Oh, the value is there. It's just I don't think you can play him in cash, can you?
No, you can't. I don't think you can say, "Oh, this guy's definitely playing 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow."
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
He's had games.
It's not a definite.
He's had games under 10 minutes. He had 8 minutes.
As of
14 minutes,
10
minutes, yeah. So I mean, there's just you can't count on it, but definitely I think I could see him being a chalky GPP play tomorrow though, actually, because of the value.
Yeah, you're right. And he's had 2 straight pretty good games. And again, it's not a secret that, they've been talking about giving him more run. But like you said, it's as early as a week ago, he got less than 10 minutes. So,
what about Ja on the other side? Do you look at Ja?
Him and Rashawn Holmes are the same price on DraftKings that I think I'm going to lean Rashawn Holmes after what he did today.
Okay. And then Nurkic, obviously I love Nurkic tomorrow. He's rested. He barely played today. Him and his foul trouble. So I think Nurkic can have a nice game tomorrow.
I agree. I think I would lean Nurkic over Allen Williams.
Agree. Brook Lopez against New York, definitely in play. And I think you can look the reverse. Go Guillermo. Maybe take a punt on Kyle Quinn if you want to go there.
Lopez, yeah, he's probable with his sprained ankle. I'm on Willie, I think. his minutes again inconsistent. If he gets to start again, I think I'm definitely high on him.
Yeah, he'll play
I think
down low.
I might be higher on him than I might rather save the value from Nurkic and play Willie tomorrow against the Nets.
Okay.
In 19 and a half minutes average against the Nets this season, he's averaging 36 and a half DraftKings points. Again, that was 19 minutes, 36 in 2 games versus the Nets.
Miles Turner has a good matchup. I don't play him on FanDuel. 5,300 on DraftKings. You can look there. I don't know. I tend to agree with you on Guillermo. I think I just go down to or pay up that extra 100 to Guillermo tomorrow for Miles Turner, as crazy as that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Whiteside's my favorite center play tomorrow.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you can look at Whiteside as well. 7,800 is doable as well, and he is only $100 more than Nurkic. So
he's owned the Pacers this season. As recently as a week ago, he had huge double-double. Let me see if I have it written down. Yep, 22 and 17, 10 out of 13 from the free throw line. So you may consider that to be an outlier. I think there's something to be said about that as well. Yeah, I like Whiteside a lot tomorrow.
What about Capella? I think this is a Capella game more than an NA game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it's most definitely a Capella game. He's been playing well, too. I had him originally written down, and then I crossed him out for Tristan Thompson.
Interesting. So I looked up Tristan Thompson's numbers versus Houston, and historically he's struggled, man. Struggled. So I actually went the reverse. I had Tristan Thompson written down, crossed him out for Capella.
I think he has the obvious rebounding advantage over Capella.
Yep.
I think he can run the floor. It's not like he's stuck in the paint. Or he might be in a half-court set, but he can definitely run up and down the floor. I don't really see him having, getting his minutes limited or getting into foul trouble.
You talking about Tristan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas Capella, they have Nene, they have Harrell. They can go small if they want to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think both.
It is.
I think both are in play, but
I think I'd rather play Willie though than both of those guys.
It's fair, especially he's the same price as Tristan and only 400 more than Clint. I'm gonna fade Horford, Lopez, Olynyk. Laverne is the only one I think you can even look at from that game.
Even there, it's tough.
Yeah.
Felicio maybe too. He got some extra run last game, minimum salary. He had a good game against Chicago too, or against Boston last game out.
So, yeah, man. I mean, like we said, there's not a ton of value. I think probably my favorite value play on this slate is Sean Kilpatrick. I can get behind Brandon Ingram on FanDuel at 4,200, same price. Zubac, obviously GPP only play. Jeremy Lin, if you want to consider that value at 55, I believe he's 52 on DraftKings, right?
Who?
Jeremy Lin. It's only 52 on DraftKings.
Jeremy Lin, 52. Yes.
Yeah. So
in this early slate, there's not a lot of value, but there's really no one to pay up to either. So you can probably get away with not rostering anybody below 4.5 on DraftKings in this early slate. On the main slate, however, you're gonna have to pick, I think, at least one or two guys, and hopefully we'll get some injury news that'll open some doors. But as of right now, to me it's looking like target these last 3 games. Look at the best matchups for each team, like which players have the best matchup on their team in each of these last 3 games, and try to make some smart stacks there, and maybe have a one-off with the high price guy like Harden or LeBron or Whiteside.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So, as usual, let's see. Checking on the Slack group, see how everything's going, see what winnings we had tonight. While I'm doing that, if you want to mention the
line was 307 DraftKings points. He had Patty Mills and Ian Clark. He had Kemba Walker and LeBron. And a couple of nice plays there as well to round out that score. So hopefully you had that in some tournaments as well. And again, so Monday, I would let people know in the lock show today. But Monday, I will post the full spreadsheets for all of these daily contests. You can see where you stand, how many points you have, what position you are in. We have about 2 weeks until those tournaments begin for the free prizes. So check in on Slack on Monday. I will post the top 10 to the social media sites. So look for that. On FanDuel, in the Phenom Duel, it was a close race, but the winner was Ball Night 11.
Ball Night 11. I don't know who that is. Don't recognize the name.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either.
But congrats.
He did not have Ian Clark, but he had Patty Mills.
Okay.
He had Manu and Matt Barnes. And then LeBron and Wall is what took him over the top. So, and Jokic. So good job to you, man. 306. So that 307 line on DraftKings, I wonder if that was a theme, if the cash line was higher on DraftKings. I know that's happened a few times this season. But it is rare. So again, look for those power rankings on Monday, and I will post the full spreadsheets on Slack.
So talk about the contest winnings. This is actually a picture I posted earlier. This was my early slate, 38 into 121, as I mentioned, and then threw 100 of that back into the main slate and lost, of course. Jeremy just posted this, 45 into 81, so nice win there. He did 50-50s, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got going on the basketball thread.
No shame in that.
Nope. It looks like people are building some early lines. We got some notes, good old-fashioned. This is how Mike does his as well, just pen and paper.
That's right.
So, yeah, man, as we mentioned, there's always – people are already talking about the next slate. So, as mentioned, man, Slack is always going off. I guarantee you as soon as the show is over, people will be back in there talking about tomorrow's games. As you can see here, we got NHL going on. We got some PGA. So, obviously, they're talking about the cuts. There was cuts today in PGA. People are talking about their winnings or how they're looking.
Also, something I wanted to mention is I'm thinking, obviously, we're doing these free contests for all these sports to help people get acclimated to the lineup building process and the player pool on a slate-to-slate basis for these peripheral sports such as NASCAR and golf, and we did MMA today as well. So I want to incorporate soccer. I know we have a few people that watch the show that are in Slack that do play some soccer, and I know there's multiple leagues that they do daily fantasy for. I want to limit it to just one of the leagues, whether it be UCL or EPL or MLS. So get at me. Let me know which one you would want me to incorporate.
MLS is just starting. I believe it's in 2 weeks in. So I am excited about that. I'm going to work on projections for soccer. And the reason for that is it is a very untouched sport. So obviously,
well, then maybe we'll just stick to MLS then.
I think
I'm done with that
because EPL ends in 2 months. So
yeah, I might as well.
So look out for some soccer. It's going to be a project, man, because there are so many ways to score in soccer that I'm looking at. I got to figure out where I'm going to start, how I'm going to project it, but it's in the works, man, and I'm excited about it. I just want to mention again, obviously Selection Sunday is tomorrow. March Madness, the tournament has been created. The Fantasy Phenom tournament. It is a $10 entry per bracket. You have a max of 3 brackets. There's a password to it, so what you'll do is you'll click on here. Obviously, you'll get Money Mike's email address to send him the money. We're going to put it all in a pool. Top 3 are paid out. And once that is set up, you'll get the password. Again, you'll get 3 entries at max. And we'll go from there, man. So we got till Thursday to join in. So obviously everyone will know who's in tomorrow. I expect that to pick up. If you're not in the group already, we only have 23 people in here right now. So make sure if you're in Slack, you get in this group if you are interested in playing.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're in Slack and you don't realize I think there's groups being created. Like there's we're adding like almost like 3 groups a week or channels a week. I mean,
Yeah.
so make sure you're up on checking to see if there's any new channels, and join to check them out. You don't have to stick with it, but at least see what they're about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
and like you said about soccer, I was watching some MMA today since I had some money on it. I think over the summer after we get baseball underway, I would like to get some more content on that as well. Could be an easy sport to cash in if
that's a year-round
you
sport.
do the right research. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we're always constantly working towards new things. So soccer, ironically, is next. Hockey will be in the works, obviously, for next year. I think it's a little too late in the season now for me to start trying to work on a projection. Same reason I'm not looking at EPL.
Mm-hmm.
But all these things are in the works. Hopefully, because once projections are done, like for basketball, it'll be easy. There's no lead time into creating basketball projections for next year. I have all the algorithms set up, so it's good to go every night. It takes me about an hour just to enter everything, but I won't have to recreate anything next year. So same thing with all the other sports. So we're looking forward to it. As we grow and as this grows, we'll have more time and just hopefully cover every sport, man. So I'm excited. A lot of good things going on.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Mike, we'll have a day show Monday, correct?
Day show Monday. Yep. So no show tomorrow night. No lock show tomorrow because lock is at 6 p.m. my time for the main. But I'm going to try again. I haven't been able to do it this weekend. I'll try to get the stacking out to you. If not, obviously, I post my notes. Has all the stuff on there. So worst case scenario, you'll have that.
Yeah, so we'll get you guys covered. But yeah, we'll be back Monday morning for the day show. And we also have a baseball show that day as well.
On Monday.
We'll be covering second baseman that day. So look forward to both of those. Day shows up until next Thursday night. You work Thursday
Yes.
or Friday?
I work Friday.
Okay, so we'll have day shows up until Friday slate, which will be Thursday night. So just so you guys kind of have a schedule, kind of to plan out for the week. Monday slate. No, sorry. Yeah, Monday slate.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday slates are all day shows. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. We will see you in Slack.